Today, we're talking about the 7 things that you need to make peace with in order to endure your confidence development process. Welcome back to Practice, where we fuse research and culture to help you develop the mindsets, the habits, the skills that you need in order to live out your purpose with confidence. I'm your coach, Dr. Rees. It's time for us to get better, y'all. Let's grow. I'm so excited for this episode because I'm speaking to you, but I'm really talking to me. And I feel like these are some of the best episodes where I'm like, I need this word. And when I feel like God puts a word on my heart, it really is something I know I don't want to keep to myself because I'm not the only person who is navigating the things that I'm navigating. So I got to get it out. We're talking about the 7 things that you need to make peace with, we need to make peace with in order to endure the confidence development journey. Now you're probably like, Reese, why did you say endure? Well, we talked about this before, and I'm going to say it all the time that your confidence has to go through friction. Your confidence has to go through conflict in order for it to really be solidified as confidence. If your confidence don't go through friction and conflict, it's not real confidence. That means it's stuck in a place of your comfort zone is really small where it only includes things that you know you can excel at, right? There's not something that makes you expand your comfort zone in a way where your comfort zone includes doing difficult things. So the reason why I say endure the process is because the process is hard. Becoming confident is not an easy thing, which is why so many people have fake confidence, right? Or so many people struggle with the development of it, or so many people lose their confidence. And so we're talking about the 7 things that you need to make peace with. Now you're probably like, what are 7 things that I need to make peace with? And as I was really going through probably this last month of life, these things just kept hit me in multiple different ways. And I was like, yo, I have to make peace with these things, because when you make peace with these things, it enables you to proceed. And it's important to know that peace doesn't mean perfect. Peace does not mean perfect. Peace means acceptance. So when we hear peace, I need us to know that peace doesn't mean that I am okay. Peace doesn't mean that this situation is perfect. Peace doesn't mean that everything is figured out. Peace means acceptance. And I'm going to accept this, whatever this is, as is, and I'm going to proceed. So here are 7 things that I need you to make peace with in order to endure your confidence journey. Because if you don't make peace with these 7 things, you're going to tap out. You're going to crash out. You're not going to be able to be as confident as you want to be, because what you're struggling with is making peace with these barriers that are standing in your way, with these forms of conflict that are between you and being your most confident human being. So let's get into number 1. Number 1, you need to make peace with not being liked. You need to make peace with not being liked and not knowing why. In order for you to be your most confident self, you need to make peace with not being liked and not knowing why, and being okay with being misunderstood. This right here is a lifelong journey. Has been a lifelong journey for me. And I'm finding that there's so many other women out there that I admire. And not even just women. There's so many more humans out there that I admire who are in their 40s and 50s. And they're like, yo, I just stopped caring what people think. Or I care less about what everybody thinks. And I'm very clear on this small group of people and what they think about me. And I think that it's important for us to make peace with not being liked and not knowing why, and being okay with being misunderstood. I think that's important because not everybody's going to like you. One example I use is Kendrick back in February 2025, right, did the Super Bowl. And he set the record for the most watched Super Bowl halftime. But not every single person there showed up to support him. Not everybody there, or physically there and watching, was rooting for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, Cats was watching and praying on his downfall. And the reason why I bring that up is because not everybody watching you is rooting for you. And you have to be okay with that. Not everybody watching you is rooting for you, and you need to be okay with that. If you cannot be okay with not everybody who's watching you rooting for you, you will never be able to be confident. And that might be the hurdle that you need to figure out, how do I get over and how do I get through? If you struggle with people misunderstanding you and you just want everybody to understand you, you will never be confident because your insecurity is rooted in needing everybody to like you. And that's just not what it's about. So here's what we need to figure out. If you struggle with not everybody liking you and you don't know why, and you need everybody to like you for you to proceed, you need acceptance of everybody else, then you need to be able to sit down and ask yourself, why do I need everybody to like me? And I feel you. I've been there. I'm a Leo. I'm a extrovert. I love people. Like, I feel like there's a handful of people I have done wrong. I get it for sure. Outside of them, I'm like, I don't know why people don't like me. And that's it. Like, there are people who are not going to like you and have no reason why. Then there's also people who are not going to like you and have a reason, but to you, that reason may never be valid. There are people who are just not going to like you. Denzel said this. Denzel Washington said, there's people who aren't going to like you because the spirit in you disrupts the demons in them. Bar. There are people who are not going to like you for reasons you'll never know. And the reason may just be your spirit, your good energy, your confidence rubs them wrong. And that's the only reason why they don't like you. Funny, we're at my son's lacrosse game, actually today. And there was this dude, white dude, probably in his, maybe he's 58, almost 60. He might have been younger. But he had so much energy. Bro was like, I'm not going to yell because I don't want to mess up the mic, but he was like, yeah, let's go. Woo! Jumping around, super excited. That's my kid. That's our team. Like, bruh was pumped. He was geeked. And as an observer, and I was the camera woman, I'm going around and I'm watching everybody and their reactions, and I could hear people talking about him, and some people loved him. Our group rocked with him, and then there was other people who were like, ugh. Anytime like somebody else scored who wasn't his kid, like I heard this guy go, "Oh, was that his kid?" Like people would start to snicker, and it's just so funny to me because this is a great example of somebody being, I don't know. I'm assuming just from this interaction, somebody being 100% secure in who they are. And somebody asked him, like, have you always been this way? He was like, yep, been this way for life. And I love it. Be that way. Like, that's you. Like, the fact that he had the ability to just be him, and you're in a crowd full of people. And I actually heard, he didn't hear, but I heard other folks just being like, ugh, shut up. And I'm like, one, we're at a sporting event. Two, you got a proud dad supporting his kid and his team, and you need energy. Like, again, somebody like myself is pro energy, but you're at a sporting event. So it makes sense. But back to the point is, there are going to be people who don't like you simply because your energy irritates them. There are going to be people who do not like you simply because your energy irritates them. And you need to make peace with not knowing why. And you need to make peace with being okay with that. So the sooner you have the ability to say, man, like, people aren't going to like me. And that's okay. I accept that. If you can accept it, you will be better off. Now, easier said than done. Why? Because we're humans and we're created for a community. So the fact that we're created for a community means that we have a drawing to want to be in community and relationship with people, intimately, platonically, and romantically. We have that draw. Some people have more than others. So when people don't like you, that is going to disrupt something in you. You don't like that people don't like you. Some people work really, really hard and they want everybody to like them. Some people are like, cool, I don't need everybody. I love that, right? So that is the number one thing, is I need you to make peace with not everybody liking you and you making peace with being misunderstood. I think it's so dope when somebody understands themselves so well, they can care less about who misunderstands them. Because what's understood does not need to be explained. And if you want to be a confident human being, then you have to make sure that you understand you. It don't matter who misunderstands you as long as you understand you. So be the type of person who is extremely intent with understanding who they are inside and out and how they show up, the energy that they give out, all those things, so much to the point that you don't care who misunderstand you because you understand you. Now, number two, in order for you to be your most confident self, you got to start minding your business. In order for you to be your most confident self and endure the journey of growing in confidence and self awareness, you have to mind your business. And when I mean mind your business, number one, you need to be clear on what is my business. Like, there's a lot of things in this world that we probably made our business that isn't our business. And now we need to take a step back and say, like, that's really not my business. And I think because the world of social media has blown up in multiple different ways, right? Like, I'm even a vlogger. Like, I put out a whole lot of family content, but there's also a whole lot of stuff you don't see. And I remember DeVal Ellis was talking about this concept around, he was like, yeah, we put out a whole lot of family stuff, but you really only see probably 2% of what we're doing. And when I think about it, like, it might seem as if I'm putting out a whole lot of information, but there's a whole lot of stuff you do not see. And that's intentional, right? For privacy and just us living our lives off of camera. And I think because there's so much information that's put out, we've made everybody's business our business. And when people don't share their business, we get mad that they didn't share the business that we thought that we was, but it wasn't your business in the first place. But because of social media, we've made everybody's business our business. And so I think that it's really, really important to know what business is yours and make peace with minding it. Now, social media is a little bit different, but I think this is really important in person. So we have a phrase in our family, and it is MYB, mind your business. As a family, we say, and we're out in public and somebody's up in somebody's business, our son is in somebody's business paying attention or whatever, MYB, mind your business. Because when you can mind your business, you're good. And when you can make peace with minding your business, you're even better. But there's going to be so many things that are going on that do not concern you. And if you over concern yourself with things that do not concern you, you will become overwhelmed. And we don't have time to be overwhelmed with things that don't concern us. So take this MYB, mind your business. The more you can mind your business, the better off you will be and the more confident you'll be because you're only concerned with things in matters that have to do with you. Now, that doesn't mean be destructively selfish. That's not what it means. It just means everything in the world don't concern you. Everybody's business ain't your business. And we're getting too accustomed to thinking that things and everything does. And it really don't. There's certain So today I had a lot of examples. Today we had a basketball game and there was an interaction that happened between the player and a coach. And I was like, hey, what happened? Like, what was going on there? And Ju said, I don't know. I didn't need to hear it. Come on, Heart. We were like, yes, MYB, way to mind your business. Like, that's a super big deal. That you can acknowledge, like, not everything has to do with you. And I think this is important because when you can conserve your energy for the things that matter most, you can then give all of you to the things that matter, that truly matter to you. Instead of trying to be in on every piece and being that nosy neighbor over here and in these people's business over there. Like, no. Just stay and be clear on the things that matter to you. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3, and I wrote these down and I want to read them verbatim. I didn't want to just kind of spitball them. This one might bother some folks. Feeling like you always have to defend yourself and not saying anything. If you feel the need to always defend yourself, it's your ego trying to be present. And there's nothing wrong with your ego. We want our ego. We want to make peace and have a healthy relationship with our ego. But if you want to be your most confident self, then you need to make peace with this very thing. With not feeling like you have to defend yourself. If you can make peace with let me say it this way. If you can make peace with not feeling like you have to defend yourself all the time, you will have a healthy relationship with your ego and you will be the most confident you can be. I am somebody who historically felt like I always had to defend myself. I always felt I was always in defense. And now when I feel like I have to defend myself, I have a healthy enough relationship with my ego to be like, ooh, okay, that's some good information. Why do I feel like I have to defend myself here? Why what is it about that this person just said that makes me feel like I need to defend? What is it that I'm in me that I'm trying to defend? Is it an actual insecurity that has come up that they've spoken to and now I need to address that? Or is that more of who they are in their own self and then they're throwing it out on me? But if I never got real, and if I was to show you my journal, you could actually see like I was intentional about figuring out how do I become two things: less defensive and more definitive, indecisive. Two things that help me be more confident today is being less defensive and more decisive. Less defensive was having a healthy relationship with my ego and saying, okay, why am I offended by what just took place? And then being more decisive was not just being taking any, like, oh, I'm not sure what I want to do, or I'm not sure what I want to eat, I'm not sure where I want, like being unsure. I use the word sure to the minimum. Like, I do not like the word sure. If I'm talking to my family, I'm like, hey guys, do you want something? And they're like, sure. Nope, that's not a good enough. That's not good enough for me. And somebody might think about D about that, and you're right, because being decisive is confident. Being decisive is confident. Don't tell me sure you want something. Like if I say, hey, do you want to hook up? Sure. Nope, that don't work for me, because sure is too loose. Like if I say, do you want something? Do you want to do something? I'm putting out an inviting piece there. I need a yes or no. I need you to be decisive. If I want something, I challenge myself to be as clear as I can, because it increases my confidence in my decision and my clarity. So now if I get whatever it is that I wanted, or and I don't like it, or I don't like the decision I made, I could then go back and say, this is the decision you made. You got to live with it. You got to deal with it. And now in the future, you can make a different one. But if I go into the decision unsure, unclear, with it muddly and saying, oh, yeah, sure, I guess I'll eat that. That even just the energy around that freaks me out. So, in order for you to grow in your confidence, you need to be less defensive and more decisive. Less defensive is rooted around your ego and your insecurities, which is human. But you have to make peace with figuring out why. Why? Like why does what they said bother me? Why is how I'm going about this? Why? And just keep asking yourself why. Or I also like because. This bothered me because this. I feel like I have to do, in being a black mass presenting woman, a stud, like there was a whole lot of places that I feel like I have to defend myself. But because I know how to mind my business, and because I'm okay with being liked, I don't feel like I have to defend myself all the time anymore. But I wouldn't be able to not feel like I had to defend myself all the time if I didn't mind my business and if I wasn't okay with being liked. So the reason why I need you to make peace with these four things, is not being liked and not knowing why, not feeling like you always have to defend yourself, and sorry, I forgot the third. Oh, and minding your business. So, minding your business, not being liked and not knowing why, not feeling like you have to defend yourself, and also being decisive. If you can make peace with those four things, I guarantee you, you will be a more confident human being through and through. So start there, asking yourself, why do I feel like I need everybody to like me? Why do I feel like I'm always in everybody else's business? Why do I feel like I always defend myself? And why do I feel like I'm so wishy-washy when I'm making decisions? If you deal and struggle with those four things, I get it, because I have too. But if you struggle with those four things, you're decreasing your ability to be a confident human being. And we cannot have that. Now, number 5. Well, it's really number 4, but I added in decisive, so that was kind of like a bonus one. But number 4, you need to make peace with being a narcissist. Sorry, I said that wrong. you don't need to make peace with being a narcissist. I'm sorry. Hopefully nobody ever clips that out. Here's what I'm saying. You need to make peace with having narcissistic traits. You need to make peace with having narcissistic traits. If you are going to be your most confident self, then you need to make peace, which means acceptance with having narcissistic traits. And that right there is a struggle. The reason why I'm saying this is because there are 12 traits that those who have NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, that they have, that people who also are confident will have as well. People who are successful will have as well. People who are high performers will also have these. So there's a lot of similarities that overlaps NPD and confidence. The difference though is when somebody has a cluster of NPD traits, that's what makes them a narcissist. But for confidence, you have to be empathetic because the root of confidence is humility. But some people, and again, it may be the people who don't like you, will probably see some of these traits in you that are similar to somebody who has NPD and be like, oh, they're a narcissist. And they will just throw it out because they're not aware that yeah, there are some overlappings when it comes to being a confident human being and having narcissistic traits. Yes, 100%. And that don't feel good. It don't feel good at all. But what's so dope is one of my good friends, family sisters, Megan and I, we have a podcast or a show called In the Room, and we break this down. What are the similarities? What are the overlappings? How do you handle people who, like, how do you handle that? What are the differences between narcissism and confidence? And if you're like, what the heck, go check out those two episodes. They're episode 3 and 4 on the In the Room podcast. So let me say this again. If you want to be your most confident self, you need to make peace with having narcissistic traits and being called a narcissist by folks who do not understand the difference between the two. It ain't going to feel good, but because you make peace with people not liking you and you not knowing why, you make peace with not being understood, you're going to be fine with that. But this is still something, a barrier, a conflict that you're gonna have to fight through because it ain't gonna feel good. Because you don't want to be labeled a narcissist. I get it, me either. But I had to make peace with somebody being like, "Oh, you're a narcissist." But I also had to make peace with being perceived as a narcissist. So you have to make peace with being perceived as a narcissist because there are overlapping traits between folks who are confident and high performers and folks who have NPD. The difference is the cluster of NPD traits, in the biggest emphasis is the lack of empathy. But again, with being confident, the root of your confidence, the way that I teach it, is humility. If your confidence is rooted in humility, you're also going to have empathy, which means you cannot be a narcissist because of those two things. So in order for you to be your most confident self, you got to make peace with potentially being seen as a narcissist, folks not liking you, you not knowing why, but you being able to say, my heart and my mind is rooted in humility and I have empathy for myself and other people. Therefore, I'm not, and I'm okay with you thinking that I am. Now, we got a couple more that we're going to tackle. And these last 3 are difficult. These last 3, I've never really drank like that. I just drank a drink. Drank a drink. Does that make sense? Yeah. In the middle of the show. But I needed it. I needed to wet my throat really quick. These last 3 are kind of difficult. But they're in alignment. And I really need you to hone in on this. Okay. I need you to make peace with being wrong. I need you to make peace with being wrong. Because being confident does not equal perfection. So if you can make peace with being wrong, then you're okay. If you know in yourself, like, I'm going to be wrong. Just because I'm my most confident self and I'm building myself up and I'm on a journey of healing, and I know that healing is not a destination, that means I'm going to be wrong. You're going to hurt some folks. And again, whether you care, not whether you care or not, but there are people you're going to hurt unintentionally, and there are people you're going to hurt maybe sometimes intentionally. Why? Because you might just be like, ooh, shoot, I said something and I didn't mean to say that. Because again, we're not perfect. So you're going to slip up. You're going to harm somebody. It doesn't necessarily mean a drastic form of harm, but you might hurt somebody's feelings. Why? Because you might have had a lapse of emotional confidence and ability to respond in a way that you desire to, and you might say something that hurts somebody's feelings, and then you know what you do? The reason why we say confidence is rooted in humility is you ask for forgiveness. You forgive yourself and you make peace with being wrong. If you struggle with being wrong, you will not be your most confident self. If you struggle with being wrong, you will not be your most confident self because you are going to still be wrong. Because confidence doesn't equal perfection. Confidence doesn't mean I'm going to get it right all the time. In fact, confidence means I should be getting it wrong because confidence requires conflict and challenge and friction. So, because those things exist, in order for me to continue to grow my confidence and expand my comfort zone and maximize and actualize my potential, I have to be getting things wrong. Whether that's in intimate relationships, that's in creating anything, that's in executing anything, there's always going to be an element of wrong. There's always going to be an element of failure, and you need to make peace with the element of failure existing in your atmosphere. Because when you want to be your most confident self and you want to be a high performer, that means you're taking action. There's so many people who are afraid to take action because of their fear of failure, because they don't want to be wrong. It's not even necessarily just their fear of failure or them not being wrong, is they're so afraid of the feeling of embarrassment. Being embarrassed does not feel good. And I have been embarrassed, through and through and through. I am an awkward black girl at the root of who I am. So embarrassment is like second nature to me. But the sooner that you can make peace, which is acceptance, with being wrong, you're fine. You're good. You will be able to sail through any wave and water that this confidence journey brings you on, simply because you're like, I understand that this is a part of the process and I have peace with that and I've accepted it. So the last two, I'm going to kind of cluster them together in a way, because I think that it's beneficial to hear them the way that I want to phrase it. No, I'm not. I'm going to keep them separate. This one right here is my favorite compliment. You need to make peace with being patient. You need to make peace with being patient if you want to be your most confident self. There's no way around it. If you want to be confident, you want to have emotional intelligence, which I see as emotional confidence. If you want to be a high performer, you want to live out your purpose, you want to actualize your potential, you want to be the best partner and parent and entrepreneur, successful person. If you want all those things, you need to make peace with being patient. If you refuse to have a healthy relationship with being patient, you can kiss all those things goodbye. Because patience is the key. Patience is the root, and patience don't feel good. I don't care how much you pray for patience, how much you like try to put yourself, if you are not okay with being patient, you're not going to be okay. And that is one of my favorite compliments because I try to activate it. Am I perfect at being patient? No, especially as a parent, especially when I'm the one that put us in this situation to be wrong and to be late. And then I get lack of patience and anger with myself. And I'm like, oh my gosh, right? But the sooner you can make peace with being patient, the better your life will be. Tenfold. So, what that means is life will continue to throw you opportunities to practice patience. Practice your patience as much as possible because the more you practice your patience, the more patient you will become. And the more patient you become, the more peace you have in all the moments. And the more peace you have in every moment, the more patient you are. So if you want more peace in life, become more patient. If you want to be more patient, seek peace. They go hand in hand. And if you want to grow in your confidence, seek peace and accept having patience. They're just it. And this is everywhere. I've made a episode, maybe, I don't know, I did something, I'd be talking about kindness. Kindness being a life hack. Patience is a form of kindness. Patience is a form of kindness, but it's also giving off the energy of peace. It's also giving off the energy of acceptance. Patience is also a form of empathy. If you think about the last time you were in a line, at a light, at school pickup, anywhere where there were other people involved. When you decide to activate patience, you then posture yourself in a seat of peace, which then exemplifies to other people empathy, because you understand that the world don't revolve around you and everybody else has a whole lot of stuff going on. And I promise you, more times than not, a lot of people are trying their best. So I'm encouraging you to activate patience and have a heart posture of peace. And this is going to increase your confidence, and it's going to increase the energy, the positive energy that you literally just permeates through you because you decided to center your heart and mind on being patient and exuding peace, which is going to shoot out empathy in people need it. I'm not talking about no soft empathy. I'm talking about real life empathy that everybody needs, especially right now where the world is at. Now, here's our last one. I need you to make peace with peace. I need you to make peace with peace. And I've been saying this throughout, and I saved it for last because when you can make peace with peace, that means you have acceptance and contentment. When you can make peace with peace, it means you have acceptance and contentment. And neither one of these things means perfect. Peace doesn't mean perfect. Peace doesn't mean finished. Peace doesn't mean everything's okay. Peace doesn't mean you have clarity. Peace doesn't mean you have everything figured out. Peace just means I'm going to accept things the way that they are because my heart can't afford to be dancing around trying to figure things out. It makes me think about anxiety. Always worrying, being in the future or being in the past or trying to be here and there, and I'm rushing them everywhere, and then I'm lacking peace. You deserve to have peace in your life. As much as you deserve to be confident, you deserve to have peace. And when you seek peace, it doesn't mean that you're seeking perfection. It doesn't mean you're seeking to know everything. It just means that you're seeking to have a heart posture that says, okay, I've done the best that I can. I'm going to focus where I'm at. I'm going to be where my feet are. I'm going to be present. Peace is also an act of just being present in the moment. And when you can do that, your life gets better. You become a higher performer. Your performance goes up. Your emotional confidence goes up because you're present and you're exactly where you are. And I just said something that I don't like saying anymore. Being where your feet are. I want you to be where your heart is. Be where your heart is. Be where your head is. Like, put your head and your heart in alignment and be there. And when you can be there, you're better. So I need you to make peace with having to have peace. Because when you can make peace with having to have peace, your confidence is going to shoot through the roof because this life be lifing. And this journey will life. And there's a lot of turmoil and there's a lot of things that are out of your control. So if you want to be your most confident self, I need you to focus on having peace. And focus stands for forgetting outside circumstances and uncontrollable situations. Make peace. Have acceptance with yourself, with your journey, where you're at, where you want to go, the things that are out of your control, all the above. When you can make peace and have acceptance and be content with those things right there, you'll be good. You'll be good. So let's run this list down one more time. It ended up being 8 things, which is great because 8 is the number of new beginnings. So here are 8 things that I need you to make peace with this year, today, this week, whenever you hear this. Here are 8 things that I need you to make peace with in order for you to become your most confident self. Number 1, not being liked and not knowing why. Be okay with being understood. Number 2, minding your business. You have to mind your business, y'all. Number 3, feeling like you always have to defend yourself and not saying something, right? Feeling like you need to be able to just speak up and up. You don't always have to do that. Number 4, make peace with being decisive. Don't be wishy-washy. Don't be like a leaf that flows through the wind and not really knowing and understanding what it is you want. Get to know you so you can be explicit. This is what I want. I do or I don't. My word is yes, my word is no, but my word is my word. Be firm on that. Number 5, being misconstrued for being a narcissist because there are conflicting or overlapping traits when it comes to being confident and being a narcissist. But again, the key in that is narcissists, those with NPD, have a cluster of traits, and the root of that is a lack of empathy. When it comes to being confident, yes, you are going to be somebody who wants the best for yourself and is speaks highly of yourself and wants to have great esteem and be successful, but you are rooted in humility and empathy. Number 6 is making peace with being wrong. You are going to be wrong. You are going to get it wrong. You are going to fail. In fact, we want it because it tells us that we have so much more room to grow, and we're excited about that. Number 7, I need you to make peace with being patient. Patient is a heart posture. Patience is a heart skill. And number 8, I need you to make peace with peace, because peace is acceptance, and acceptance is allowing you to be content. And when you can be content, you can grow in your confidence, y'all. I hope that this message encouraged you in some way. I know that I needed this. I know that I need these reminders every single day. And I hope that this is one that you come back to, but also one that you share with other people. You're like, man, I need this. Again, if you want to know anything more about the similarities and differences between confidence and narcissism, check out the In the Room podcast episodes 3 and 4. If you want to know more about any of these topics, obviously talk to me in the comments, send me a DM. Let's grow. Let's just grow. Let's be the type of people who are committed to being our best selves and our most expansive selves, so that way we can actualize our potential. I love you all. I truly appreciate you for tuning into this and allowing me to pour my heart out to encourage you as I encourage myself. Until next time, let's keep growing. This is Practice. I'm your coach, Dr. Rees. I love you all. Peace.